Hi everybody, welcome back. It's official, the wood stove is out and the electric heater is in. I'll cover some of the reasons why I made the conversion, but in short, I started wondering, could the smallest, cheapest 120 volt sauna heater on Amazon actually work for something like this? Whether you've been following this project from the beginning, in fact, the combined videos for this project have nearly 500,000 views, or this is your first time seeing it, remember, the whole point of this project is experimentation. Basically, trying to do more with less. Now, this video is primarily about the conversion of going from the wood stove to the electric, but if you're curious about your own DIY sauna built from recycled materials like pallet wood and cedar fence boards, well, there are a lot of resources in the description of this video. Videos, the comments on those videos, links to the gear that you would need, as well as links to the build guide. All right, how hot does it get? We'll answer that here in a second, but let's focus on the process of converting from the wood stove to the electric. Inside, I framed out a cover to fit in the space that normally held the wood stove. Now, I did save scraps from the original cedar interior install, but they were all fairly small, but that was okay because the heater would cover the seam. Most sauna heaters are 220 volts. And so usually that means you're going to need to get an electrician involved in the build, both for the installation of the heater as well as perhaps running wires and tying it into your house. And so when I was seeing these various 2 kilowatt, 120 volt sauna heaters on Amazon, basically plug and play, you plug them in and they run, I kind of dismissed it. How hot can they actually get? But then curiosity got the best of me and I thought, you know what? This whole project has been about experimentation. Why not? Let's see what happens. And so I got one of those sauna heaters from Amazon. And a quick footnote, yes, I actually tested it before I did the install to make sure that this work would be worth it. I covered the holes for the chimney both inside and out with removable covers if I ever want to switch back to a wood burning stove. Now, the heat from the wood stove was very different from the heat from the electric heater. The wood stove kind of emanated heat into the sauna versus the electric heater, which basically went straight up. So I needed to kind of figure out how to protect the bench that runs over that area. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I like to recycle stuff. I like to save stuff. And I had these 2 stainless steel panels that were left over from a grill cart that I never used because I installed the grill directly into the wall by my patio. So I took these 2 stainless steel panels and I made a hood that fits directly over the heater, and that does a couple things. It kind of channels the air into the sauna in a couple different directions, as well as it protects the bench from overheating, getting too hot when you're laying on it, as well as protecting the bench, the wood itself, from scorching. Now, when it comes to the electric aspect of this build, and if it's something that you ever think about doing, it's critical that you pay attention to the fine print on everything in the line of the electricity. So yes, the heater itself is rated at 20 amps, and so it requires 20 amps of service. That means everything, the electrical cords that you use, the electrical cord outlets that you use, as well as the outlet on your house, they all need to be rated to a minimum of 20 amps. And it's very easy in the process of ordering thinking that heavy duty means 20 amps, and it doesn't necessarily. It very often means 15 amps, and you don't want that. Those cords will, in the long run, cause problems. So hopefully you get the point. 20 amps is the direction that you want to go. Every link that I'm going to send you to from this video or from my website is to 20 amp at a minimum rated gear. Okay, so the question that many people are wondering is, how hot does it get? The first day, once I had everything set up, it was just 70 degrees, 69, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And I turned on the heater, and in 1 hour, it made it to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And I suspect there's a little bit of room up above that. It's possible that 160 is also probably within range, depending on how much water you're putting on the sauna rocks and how long you're in the sauna, etc. So honestly, that's pretty great, because my wife and I tend to use sauna around 135. 150 is great. So probably we'll tend to use it maybe a little higher. Maybe we'll tend to use it at the 140, 145 range. I mentioned at the outset that one of the driving forces for this conversion was curiosity. But I have to admit there was another factor, and that was, I suspect that there is a large population of viewers that would be more interested in taking on this project if it was a little more plug and play when it came to the heat source. And so having a heat source that you literally can just plug into an extension cord, albeit a 20 amp extension cord, and be able to have your sauna up and running, well, and that brings more people into this project and building a DIY sauna, well, I think that's great also. And full disclosure here, there is one final reason, or an additional reason, why I decided to tackle this project, and that was during this past winter, on days when I wasn't feeling great, maybe I had a cold, or I had, muscle pain or whatever, sometimes the amount of work that was going to be required to get the wood, get the fire started, and get the sauna up to temperature was just enough to talk me out of doing it. And that kind of defeats the point of sauna. Especially in a day when you're sick, you need to be in the sauna. So convenience definitely played a part. I also mentioned that I didn't make it a permanent conversion because it wouldn't be that difficult to convert this sauna back over to the wood stove. Maybe a day's worth of work, 5 or 6 hours, and it would be back to the wood burning stove. All in all, it was slightly more than $300 in equipment required to make the conversion. Your mileage may vary. Be sure to check out the links on wineberryhill.com. There I give links to all of the 20 amp cables and outlets and all of that sort of thing that you would need in order to do a project like this for yourself. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's official. The It's official. Brain dead. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's official. The wood stove is out and the electric heater is in. Experimenting and doing more with less. And then I was going to say something right after that. Forgot. We'll talk about that at the end, but let's stop. I made it almost to the end of that whole spiel. Cooper, give me like 2 minutes, okay? Well, keep in mind, it's always been about experimentation. Cooper, timing, perfect. Good. Cooper's so supportive, mostly emotionally, not as much physically because no thumbs. A big thank you to everyone that made it all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. If you did make it this far, please do all that YouTube stuff, liking, subscribing, especially the commenting. And please consider supporting the channel in additional ways that will make it possible to ensure that I can continue making videos that are interesting to you. And as always, if you like this video, you might like these.